start off with measuring a 1/2 inch all the way around your watercolor paper on the top, bottom, left, and right. We are going to draw a straight line and then put tape down to protect the paper so we have a nice clean edge. Once you have that done, begin glazing the paper using a clean brush and fresh clean water, going all the way across the paper, really quick strokes. We are prepping the paper with this glaze so that our paint will absorb into the paper nicely and spread around. Before I put that tape down, I did put it on my pants to remove some of that stickiness so that it didn't rip off the paper once I pulled it off when I was done, just as a side note. So a 1/2 inch all the way around using tick marks. So right now I'm mixing together a blue violet. The blue violet is going to be in my sky at the top, and I'm going to go all the way across the page, and I'm filling in all those little gaps at the top and at the bottom, on the left and right, sweeping that all the way across the page. Now, since my paper is already wet, it's already glazed, the fibers in the paper are absorbing that paint and spreading it out as well, so it mixes together nicely. So I put some purple in my blue in the palette lid, mixed them together so it has the same consistency, and I went up and down. So I went up into that blue, still going horizontally side to side, large sweeping strokes across the paper, making sure that I have my sides completely full. And now I'm just adding purple. So I went from a blue to a blue violet. Now I'm going into a violet. And I was talking about what else I want to put at the bottom. I am going to continue to fill this paper up with mostly sky and then add some land in it later. So we're just focusing on the sky for now. So I'm making a red violet, again, sweeping motions all the way across the paper from left to right. And I'm putting that paint again up towards that violet. So it has a more subtle shift. You can't see any chunked out blocky forms of this color. It's just a gradual, smooth, subtle mixture. And I do have some pink if people want that. But now I'm adding some more red to make my red violet more bold. And I added some more water towards the bottom because as it gets closer to the horizon line, it would be a little bit lighter with the sun setting. I'm going to add in a little bit of orange, but we do have to be careful. We know that when we blend orange and purple together, it kind of neutralizes itself and makes it brownish. I'm just adding a little bit. We do see this in the sky when purples and oranges blend together in the clouds. So I'm taking a paper towel and I'm dabbing up some of that water to give a really soft cloud effect. I didn't want all my colors to be the same saturation, so I am lightening it, lifting some of that color. And if you do this while it is more wet, you can lift the color from the paper. I didn't do it soon enough at the blue part. So you can also turn your paper horizontally and tape it. Remember, doing a 1/2 inch all the way around. And the paint is going to be applied to a wet, glossy paper. And again, I'm glazing that, and I'm not going all the way down at first because it will dry. So I'm mostly focusing on where I want my land to be. So I'm getting it wet. Oh, I gotta go all the way down. And I made a red-orange in my paint palette. And I'm realizing that my camera cuts off. So we are doing a red violet. Now I just wanted to do a warm one and a cool one. And I'm putting a bright orange. I said a red violet. I said red orange in my head. So put an orange and on the paper all the way across the page. And I did blend that upwards into my red orange. And now I'm making a more watery orange. And don't add too much water. Otherwise, your paper will start to wrinkle and bend and pull things together that you don't want. So I am going to do a circle for where I want my sun to be. I'm not putting it in the middle. And you have to know that the sun is super duper bright. The middle of it isn't yellow, it's white when we look at it. So I have this circle outline of yellow, and I put some water on it, and I'm dabbing it up with a paper towel. And then I'm going to paint around the sun. So I'm pulling that paint that is the yellow circle into the left and into the right, trying to make it more subtle. So it's not a perfect circle. It doesn't have to be, because when you look at the sun and you're squinting, all the rays are sending the light in different directions. So we're just filling up that area. I'm cleaning up that circle a little bit more, adding more colors in. It doesn't have to all be horizontal. You can have some colors sweeping up at an angle. Some areas can be more saturated. Just make sure that they're blending in together by having the paper being wet, having that paintbrush also be wet. But when you start to see that your paint is pooling together in a certain part of your painting, you need to absorb that with a paper towel or let it dry. Don't add too much water to it, otherwise things will get very muddy, very messy, very fast. So tape this down onto a table or into a board. I do have some boards for my students to tape things onto. Don't take the tape off just yet. We are going to be adding more land into this. Right now it's just our first layer of doing the sky. So you can make yours a more cool scheme or more warm, so daytime or nighttime. And I just worked on putting some more yellow down at the bottom. And don't forget to write your name on that and what block you are in. So I think I added just a little bit more yellow, and I wanted to get rid of that line around the sun. Oh, so I made nice swirls so it would look like a nice sunshine. So then just let it dry. You're good to go.